So today we're going to be focusing on the element within us that is guiding our intelligence. It helps us to make sense of what we learn as we're here on earth. And the Sanskrit term for that is Buddhi. So it's like Buddha, and it's this, it's like a light that sheds light on relationships between what we experience in the world. So what we're doing as we're celebrating spring equinox is kind of celebrating that part of us. And so what I'd like to do is read to you two short passages, one from Paramahansa Yogananda and the other from I.K. Taimni, and they both talk about this notion in slight different ways. So let's first take our first breaths here in our practice and start to become present in this practice. Connect to the flowing action of the breath. Connect to that flowing action of the breath. So maybe that it starts to take on that element, that sounds, qualities of the ocean, and you can hear the waves coming in and out from the sea to the shore, back and forth. Or if you relate more to the wind, you can kind of hear just that wind go in and out, washing and flowing in and out through the body. And now just opening your mind and heart to these words. First, we'll start with Taimni. It says, one penetrating flash of Buddhic perception can change completely the life of a man and make him see the realities of life in a manner which is not possible even by devoting many lives to the study of the deeper problems of life. A flash of lightning can reveal a landscape in a manner which is not possible by trying to explore it with a lantern on a dark night. The first is instantaneous, integrated, and in the correct perspective, while the latter is piecemeal and out of perspective. The two not only take different periods of time, but are not the same in their essential nature. So knowledge is acquired by reading books, engaging in discussion, or hearing lectures, which provide the raw material of facts of different kinds needed in the edifice of knowledge. These have to be arranged properly, gaps have to be filled, ideas have to be clarified, weak points have to be strengthened. But in acquiring wisdom, we have only to increase the clarity of vision by removing the impurities, distortions, and complexes present in the mind and their wrong modes of expression and action. So I won't go further, but you get the sense he's distinguishing between intellect, wisdom coming from Buddhi. So intuition, now I'm going to just share one more thing and then we're going to move forward. This is on intuition, which comes from that Buddhic element in us. This is from Yogananda. He says, intuition is the discriminative faculty that enables you to decide which of two lines of reasoning is right. Perfect intuition makes you a master of all knowledge. Your will and intuition should go hand in hand. A person with a strong will usually has an active intuitional power. You should develop the latent intuitive faculty. It can grow only through meditation. Do not make unimportant things important, nor concentrate on trifles at the expense of vital matters, or you will hamper your progress. Impulsive actions that are not in keeping with one's real duties are undesirable. Let soul intention guide your thinking, and then proceed confidently in any undertaking. Now we're going to shift into a table posture, and we're going to take that last sentence. Now we have a little bit of a taste of what we're talking about and what we're focusing on today. We're going to find our way to table, and then again, I'll be sharing that affirmation with you, simply changing some things around from the reading. So moving through when you're ready, inhaling, belly sinking, exhaling, belly engaging and lifting. And as we go through, just warming up the spine, feeling the breath, moving the body. Maybe that victorious breath is traveling through. Hearing the flowing, experience the flowing of water, of air, both in that breath. Let's find downward facing dog. Roll over the toes, lift the knees and the hips. Every posture always exploring. So many of these postures we don't realize are actually modifications of much more difficult expressions of these postures. But the fact that we're aware and paying attention in the posture itself is what makes it yoga. It isn't the shape. So being attentive to the body and the breath and being aware and watching, observing. Now let's shift forward and come into forward fold at the top of the mat. Maybe you round the back with the knees bent, or maybe you're able to straighten up the legs and fold over them. Next inhalation, rise all the way up to standing, reach the arms upwards. And then we'll exhale, palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. So we're going to move through Sun Salutation A a few times. And I'm going to be quiet through as much of it as I can. But we're going to introduce this affirmation. There's two parts. So let's start with the first part. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. And that's all. Just repeat that, maybe verbally to start. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. And let that eventually become mental. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. Okay, let's begin with Sun Salutation A. Next inhale, reach the arms upwards. Let the big toes touch so we have the knees going inward here. So reaching the arms up, pausing for a moment. I'll speak just for this first round and then we'll go silently together. Engaging the thighs, the glutes, lifting the chest. Maybe you find a back bend, but it's not necessary. And then we'll exhale. We can take arms out to the sides, fold forward over the legs, release the heart, release the head. Gaze past the knees. As you go through, you might be able to straighten the legs more and more, or at least be there more comfortably. Next inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine, arms behind, hands to legs, arms out to the sides. What is going to help you? Find out. Exhale, hands down, step or jump or walk the feet back to the top of a push-up where you'll have knees up or knees down. And then exhale with control, lower. And for strength building, you might hover at the bottom just for a moment to finish that exhale. Then inhale, find cobra or upward facing dog, cobra, hips down. Upward facing dog, hips up, a little bit more strength there. Exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips. Here we'll take 4 to 5 breaths. You can choose to take less breaths or more breaths. You can also change this expression into a child's posture or something else, whatever works for you. Again, everything is just a modification of something else, really. Here we're kind of drawing the knees inward a little bit, but the feet are staying still. And we're lifting the hips up towards the sky and the heart sending towards the thighs. Okay, so let's keep all of that in mind. And then when you're ready, float forward to the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lengthening, big toes touching here. Exhale, folding. Inhale all the way up. Reaching arms up. Exhale, hands together. So what we're going to do is simply flow and send salutation A. A few times, a bunch of times, we'll see how long we go, and then we're going to focus on other postures. But we'll start with this first affirmation. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. Now, whenever you're ready at your own pace, begin send salutation A. You can add, you can take away, but keep this affirmation through your mind, flowing through. Let soul intuition guide my thinking. Let's go through one more full cycle, and then we'll meet in standing. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. So once you're standing tall in samastitihi, palms together, hands in prayer position, big toes together, eyes open or closed, feeling the heart beating and the blood flowing, feeling the breath flowing. Just take a few more deep breaths. Now we'll take Sun Salutation B, but we're going to bring the second half of our affirmation in. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. 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 And we'll come back to that after we go through one Sun Salutation B together, and then we'll flow on our own for a little bit. So when you're ready, take an inhale, and then exhale, bend the knees nice and deep. Inhale, reach the arms upwards, look up. So we're pausing for a breath or two through each posture the first time around, then we flow on our own. Next exhalation, straighten the legs and then fold forward over the legs, release the head. Remembering that the knees are kind of going inward here. That's why we bring those big toes together, so that in our forward fold, hips don't turn out, they turn in. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands down, step back, and then take that vinyasa with modification. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog, then step the right foot forward. Left heel down. Just a step and a step, and then inhale, reach the arms up into Warrior A. Pull the pelvis in, lift the chest up and out of the hips, send the shoulders back and down, draw the chin in slightly. Next exhalation, hands down or on the right foot, lift the foot, step it back, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog, left foot steps forward, right heel down. Reach up. All those same little adjustments, little touches. Next exhale, hands down, lift the foot, step it back, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Maybe downward facing dog, 4 to 5 breaths, maybe a child's posture or heart chakra posture, whatever's good for you in this body at this moment. So we'll start to step forward, big toes together, heels apart, come up halfway, lengthen, exhale, fold, bend the knees, rise back up, Utkatasana, and then exhale, Samastitihi, straighten the legs, bring the hands together to the chest. So coming back to the affirmation, I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Now we'll start to flow the breath, the movement, and the affirmation through every part of your being. When you're ready, go ahead and begin. Just a reminder in downward facing dog to pull the belly, low belly up. We're going to take 2 more cycles on our own. We're going through sun salutation for the first half of our practice today to mirror this equal light and day that we are experiencing today. We proceed confidently in any undertaking. If you need to rest or modify anything, honor that. Make it more challenging or less challenging. Once you finish this cycle, make sure you go all the way through. And once you're in standing, then just come to a forward fold and rest there for a little bit. So however you get there, that's where we'll meet. Feet can be together or apart. Just hanging upside down for a little bit. Letting the head pull down the spine. We're going to start to find our way up to standing, so you can unroll the spine or rise with a flat back. But then we'll take the feet so that the big toes touch. And maybe reach the arms up, but let's have hands in prayer position again. Thumbs to the chest, to the heart center. eyes open or closed, but if they're open, that daydreaming quality to the eyes where they're just kind of blurred and soft. And coming back to now the whole affirmation. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I'm going to step the left foot or one foot to the back of the mat, whichever way makes sense for you. And separate the feet apart, and then bring the arms to a T. Let the toes face the side of the mat so that they're parallel with the short sides of the mat. Toes face forward. Arms are still to a T here. Just feel the openness of the body. And then we're going to exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, lift the heart, look upwards. Exhale, fold forward. Just keep the hands to the hips for a moment. Hands stay here and just let the head hang loose for a moment. Breathing deeply. Let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Let soul intuition guide my thinking. Proceed confidently in any undertaking. Now we're going to start to rise. So you can come up halfway and then rise all the way up to standing. Reach the arms to the sides, out to a T. Let's turn the right toes to face forward and then sink into the right knee to come into a warrior B. So just to be standing tall in these supportive legs for a moment before we stay in postures that help lengthen a bit. I'm going to feel this activity. Take the shoulders back and down. Lift the chest out of the hips. Then look past the right fingertips in that focusless gaze. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Sink a little deeper and then straighten the right leg and switch sides. So we'll pivot to have the left toes face the short side of the mat, right toes face the long side, and then lunge into the left knee. Again, back leg is straight. Lift the chest out of the hips. Just helps us straighten up the spine. Turn the head to look past the left fingertips. Shoulders back and down, arms as level as they can be. I catch my arms off all the time. And then focusless gaze, gazing past the left fingertips. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. We'll sink in a little bit more deeply. And then we'll straighten the left leg. Turn the toes to face the long side of the mat. Release the arms down, give them a break, let them hang loose. Now let's take the hands behind the back and interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back, look upwards, open the chest. Exhale, fold forward. So now we're transitioning into this second part of our practice, which will be longer holds, but we're moving into more restorative positions in a moment. So if you'd like, you can separate the feet further so that maybe you get the crown of the head to the mat, but no worries there. If not, you could just let the head hang loose. Another deep breath. You're going to be releasing the hands down, press into the palms, straighten the arms, come up halfway, then walk to the front of the mat. And then we're going to be coming to seated, but if you'd like, you can take a vinyasa on the way there. And then once you're in seated, we'll have the soles of the feet together, getting ready for bound angle posture. We're going to move a little bit through it. So sitting up nice and tall on the sitting bones. Sit on a blanket if the knees are up too high and you're struggling to keep the trunk up. So if we're there, then we'll go ahead and lower the head down and just start to fold into this. Now, let's just walk the trunk closer to one leg, a little closer to like a knee. Feeling one side of the lower back a little bit more than the other. You feel one get shorter and one get longer, one side. Shorter, contracting, longer, stretching. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Now let's come to center. Walk a little towards the other leg. Come back to that affirmation. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. We're going to be coming back to center, letting go into this for about 3 more deep breaths. And then begin to rise. We're going to come down to bridge posture, which will just mean we're going to take the arms down, but we're going to go into a variation of bridge posture, we'll say. So we'll keep the feet together as we lower down to the back. You can walk the shoulders back a little bit. So now we'll just start to send the feet a little forward until the feet peel apart, all but the heels. The heels stay together. The knees stay open. We'll root into the elbows. push into the elbows, lift the back off the mat, and then the back of the head can lift a bit so you can get the crown of the head towards the mat. Feel the front of the neck really open. And then lower the head. And what we'll do is take a twist over to the right. And let's just get there by sending the right knee over to the right and then stacking the left knee on top of the right. Taking the arms to a T and then just turning the head to the left. Work the left shoulder blade down. Actually be good to turn the head side to side a little bit. As we move through this affirmation and let it flow through, whether we're verbally saying it or mentally repeating, it's going to be echoing in your mind at some point, and then you'll just start to come back to it, kind of like a song. That's what makes them so special. And then you really get that into the subconscious mind, and you really let yourself work in the way that you are affirming. And let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Now we're going to reverse out of this by bringing the soles of the feet together again and opening the knees. Sink into that for a moment. Arms can stay to a T. And then we'll go ahead and send the right knee on top of the left. And then you might scooch them over to the left a little bit. Keep the right shoulder blade down. Turn the head to the right, or maybe you start with this motion, left, right, left, right. And when you're doing that, that's a really good time to come back to the affirmation. As the body's moving, and you're kind of rewiring internally. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Okay, let's come back to that center position with the soles of the feet together and the knees open, the arms open, and then let's just feel this for a moment. Eyes closed gently, feeling the flow of the breath in and out, taking on that quality that resonates with you. Maybe it's that ocean sound, a lake sound, the sound of the wind when you're on a sailboat, whatever it is. So now in the same position, we're going to kind of let ourselves feel the equal amount of darkness that we'll be experiencing today, whether we're conscious of it or not. It will, the body and the earth they are working on the same plane, the physical plane, and that equal light and day will affect us whether we recognize it or not, but it's good to recognize. So just letting that nice peaceful feeling come in. a time for rest, that we're not resting quite yet in this practice. We're just coming into the feeling. We're going to start to lift the feet. Keep the soles of the feet together if you can, and then lift the feet up, like you're bringing knees to chest, but you have the feet together still. And we'll release the arms and bring the hands to the feet, and then start to pull the feet in towards the belly button, towards the trunk as best as you can. Keep the shoulders back and the shoulder blades working down the back. And just pull in. Now we'll create a little resistance here, so this will help release the upper thighs and the hamstrings. So push the feet into the hands and the hands back into the feet, and then relax the legs and pull the feet in closer to the trunk. Let's do this a couple more times, pushing in and drawing the legs in. Pushing in and drawing them in. Once again. And just focus on pulling them in for 3 more deep breaths. So now we'll hold both feet with each hand, holding the outer edges of the feet. Begin to send the feet up into a happy baby. So letting the soles face up towards the sky. Drawing the toes in as much as you can so that we're really flexing the feet and sending the heels up. We're pulling down on the feet, and maybe there's some rocking action. Maybe you find one leg extending a little bit more than the other, and you just play around like that. Let it be a playful experiment, a playful sensation. We're going to travel the hands so that they are now to the inside of the feet. In terms of the shoulders are now really rotating inwardly, and the palms are facing out and holding the feet. So now let's start to just bring the feet closer together. And so this is going to be felt in the arms if you've got them nice and extended. Bring the soles of the feet closer together and then separating the feet away from each other, maybe as much as you possibly can. And then again, bring the feet closer together. Feeling this in the arms, and then opening the legs again. A couple more times. And then we'll go ahead and move the hands to the outside of the feet again, holding outer edges. And find a position and happy baby that feels good for a couple deep breaths. Pause there. Feel the flow of the breath. Repeat the affirmation. And let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Okay, now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together again, all the way. Bring the feet down to the mat, all the way down. Reversing out of this, bring the elbows down. Lift the trunk by pushing into the elbows. Then bring the head to center so you can look forward. And this is how we're rising. Bring one hand down and then the other so we can come to seated. So from here, we're going to bring the left leg forward and the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Yeah, we'll do this the first time and then we'll go the other way. So left foot flexes. Inhale, reach the arms upwards. Exhale, fold. Hands somewhere to the leg or the foot. Inhale, find length. Exhale, send the heart forward. And really trying to get the face as close to that left foot as possible. Now we're going to inhale, rise up. So if this doesn't work for the knee or the hip, you're going to just take the same variation that we took. We're going to take 2 more variations in this position with left leg extended. So pick up the right foot. See if you can bring the right foot on top of the left thigh. And if so, press the right knee down. So you have to put a little effort into that with the leg itself and maybe with the hand. And then from here, we'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Again, hands somewhere to the leg. And if possible, you're going to take that right arm behind. We'll all be able to take the right arm behind and then bring that hand to the back with palm facing out. But if you can, then maybe take the hand and find the foot. And then keep folding here. Now, again, everything is a modification of something else. So you just find what is the position you can be in to continue to encourage the left leg to stretch, to maybe be sending this right shoulder back. And then we'll inhale and rise, and then a third variation of Janu Shirshasana, we'll go ahead and take the foot out so that the knees are closer together. And then we'll inhale, lift the arms once again, and exhale, fold. So this right foot is pointed, it's not flexed. Right foot is pointed, folding here, inhaling, lifting the heart, exhale, send the heart forward. And we'll start to rise and switch legs. So if you'd like, you can come to seated first. This is always good to experiment and compare. Hands down, feet together, feet flexing. Left leg will feel a little looser than the right. So now we'll go into left side, left foot to inner right thigh. Inhale, reach the arms up, flexing right foot. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, sending heart forward. Again, trying to get the face closer to the foot without rounding the back, without collapsing in the low back especially. So as we're doing this, we're correcting the structures of the muscles, of the bones, the ligaments. So now we'll take another breath or so. And then we'll inhale, rise, and find that second variation that works for your body. So maybe foot on top of thigh in a half lotus, left knee down, inhaling, arms up, exhaling, hands there. So even if you have foot to that thigh, you might take the left hand behind again, right? Right to the behind the back, and just send the shoulder back. And if possible, maybe find the foot. And we'll inhale, rise, and third variation, knee to knee. Again, there's extension in the left foot. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, heart towards the foot. Face extending forward. Now we're going to rise back up. Extend both legs forward. We're going to come into a twist. So let's plant the right foot down, either in line with the left knee, or you're going to draw it in closer and closer towards the sitting bone. And we'll be twisting to the right. So you might be able to, if you have foot nice and close, hug this right leg, take the right hand behind. So left arm around right leg, right hand behind, fingers face back, and then twist. If it's too difficult to get the leg very close in like that, the foot would be more forward, and you might be able to get the elbow outside the knee. In our practice, we really are using our intuition to help guide these modifications. So twisting to the right, pull up on the pelvic floor, draw the low belly in. Make this energetically more powerful. Inhale, come to center. Switch legs. Find your variation. And we'll come to center. We're going to cross the ankles and come forward. This is our final posture. We're going to find a pigeon. So let's take the right knee to right hand, left leg slides back. Now first, we'll stay up and just maybe let the hands release. Maybe grab a hold of the back leg with one or both hands. You know, like find a variation here in a back bend that challenges you a bit. And then we'll release down, and we're going to fold just for about 5 really, really deep breaths. Maybe come back to your affirmation. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Okay, start to come out. And then we're going to find the other side. Maybe move this right leg behind if you need it. And then left knee forward to the hand, right leg slides back. Finding this back bend first. Now folding in, resting in for 5 breaths. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Okay, let's start to rise. We're going to transition to, we'll say seated, just to check in with the neck. So on your own, maybe move the shoulders around. Maybe take one ear up for a few breaths, and then the other ear up. Give some motion to the head and the neck. Just going to kind of leave that one up to you. And once you've completed the work with the neck, we'll prepare to lie down and rest completely in Shavasana. If there's anything else that you'd like to take on the way down, feel free. So once you find your way down, the body starts to relax more and more. And we'll let ourselves drift, but starting with our affirmation and then drifting off from there. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. And let the affirmation bring you back. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. I let soul intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently in any undertaking. Taking a few deep breaths into that, and then beginning to come back to the body, moving the body. Come back to the hands and the feet, back to the arms and the legs. Bringing motion back into these spaces. Before we rise, let's take the hands together and create some heat by rubbing them together and getting that friction going. Press a little harder. Feel the warmth in the palms building, building, building. A little bit more, really building it. And then rest the palms on the eyes. Nice big sigh here. Just wells up. And we just need to honor that and take that sigh. Let's release. Bring the knees in. Maybe a little rocking. And then finding your way to seated. So once you rise, let's tune into what is occurring in this environment around us. Renewal, rebirth. We see it with our eyes, we feel it with our skin. Our lungs can sense it. Our minds sense more sunshine in our day. And feel that spring inside of yourself. That hope for growth. And as you're moving forward into the season, remembering today's affirmation, taking it with you. I let soul, intuition guide my thinking. I proceed confidently. In any undertaking. And seal our practice with Om, breathing in through the nose. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.